The mystery of Machu Picchu, the lost city. Above the clouds. High above the clouds, hidden deep within the mountains of Peru, there is a place that seems almost impossible. A city built on a narrow ridge, surrounded by towering peaks, covered by mist, and protected by one of the most challenging landscapes on Earth. For centuries, this place remained hidden from much of the outside world. Its stone walls stood silently among the mountains. Its pathways were swallowed by vegetation. Its purpose was forgotten. Until one day, a discovery revealed one of the greatest archaeological wonders ever found. A place that would change how we understand one of the most remarkable civilizations in human history. This is Machu Picchu, the lost city above the clouds, a masterpiece of engineering, a sacred place of stone, and one of the greatest mysteries left behind by the Inca Empire. The story begins high in the Andes Mountains of South America, a landscape of extraordinary beauty and extreme difficulty. Snow-covered peaks rise above deep valleys. Steep cliffs divide communities. Thin air makes travel challenging even today. Yet more than 500 years ago, a powerful civilization transformed this difficult environment into one of the largest empires the Americas had ever known. The Incas. At its height, the Inca Empire stretched across thousands of kilometers along the western coast of South America, from modern-day Ecuador to Chile. It connected millions of people through roads, bridges, agriculture, and administration. But unlike many great civilizations of the ancient world, the Incas did not use a traditional writing system. They recorded information through a complex system called quipu, knotted cords used to store numerical information. Because of this, many aspects of Inca history remain mysterious. Their achievements survive mainly through archaeology, architecture, and the accounts of Spanish chroniclers who arrived during the 16th century. Among all Inca creations, none captures the imagination more than Machu Picchu, a city that seems to float above the clouds. For hundreds of years, local communities knew about the site. Farmers lived nearby. The mountains protected its secrets. But much of the outside world had no idea what was hidden there. Then, in 1911, an American historian named Hiram Bingham traveled through Peru, searching for the legendary lost cities of the Incas. He was following stories of forgotten settlements hidden in the mountains. During his expedition, local farmers guided him through dense vegetation and steep terrain. Then, the clouds cleared, and stone walls appeared. Terraces climbed the mountainside. Buildings emerged from the jungle. A forgotten city revealed itself. The discovery captured global attention. Photographs of Machu Picchu showed the world something extraordinary. An ancient settlement surrounded by breathtaking mountains. A place that looked untouched by time. But even after more than a century of research, many questions remain. Why was Machu Picchu built? Who lived there? Why was it abandoned? And how did the Incas create such an incredible city in one of the most difficult places imaginable? To understand Machu Picchu, we must first understand the people who built it. The Incas were masters of adaptation. They lived in an environment where flat land was rare, so they created it. Across the Andes, they carved mountainsides into agricultural terraces. These terraces prevented erosion, improved drainage, and created farmland where nature seemed to provide none. At Machu Picchu, these terraces surround the city like enormous green steps climbing the mountain. They were not simply fields. They were a carefully engineered system designed to control water, protect the soil, and support life. The Incas understood their environment deeply. They observed the movement of the sun, the behavior of water, the changing seasons. Their architecture was designed to work together with nature. And nowhere is this more visible than in the stonework of Machu Picchu. The buildings were created using a technique known as ashlar masonry. Large stones were carefully shaped and fitted together without mortar. Some stones fit so perfectly that even today, a thin blade cannot easily pass between them. The precision is remarkable. But the reason behind this technique was not simply beauty. The Andes are a region of earthquakes. Buildings made with rigid materials can crack and collapse during seismic activity. The Incas developed a different approach. Their carefully fitted stones could move slightly during earthquakes and settle back into place. A technique sometimes described as seismic resilience. The result was architecture designed not only to impress, but to survive. Many structures at Machu Picchu have remained standing for centuries. While modern buildings in earthquake-prone areas can suffer severe damage, these ancient stone walls continue to endure. The engineering is one of the reasons Machu Picchu remains such an extraordinary achievement. But the city itself creates an even greater mystery. It was not built in an easy location. It was not placed in a wide valley. It was not constructed near obvious farmland. Instead, it sits nearly 2,400 meters above sea level, surrounded by steep mountains and hidden valleys. Why choose this location? One possibility is that Machu Picchu was a royal estate. Many archaeologists believe it may have been created during the reign of the Inca Emperor Pachacuti, the ruler responsible for transforming the small Inca kingdom into a powerful empire. The location may have provided a place for the emperor, nobles, and religious specialists to retreat, perform ceremonies, and connect with sacred landscapes. The mountains surrounding Machu Picchu were not just scenery. To the Incas, mountains had deep spiritual importance. They were known as apus, sacred beings believed to protect communities and influence the natural world. Building a city among these mountains may have carried profound religious meaning. The relationship between architecture and nature is one of Machu Picchu's most fascinating features. The city appears carefully aligned with its environment. Certain structures seem connected to important astronomical events. The Temple of the Sun is one example. This unique circular structure contains carefully carved stonework and windows positioned to interact with sunlight during specific times of the year. Researchers believe the Incas used such locations for observing the movement of the sun and marking important seasonal moments. Again and again, Machu Picchu reveals the same pattern. Engineering, astronomy, religion, nature, everything connected. But perhaps the greatest mystery is what happened after the city was completed. For a place requiring such enormous effort, why was it eventually abandoned? When Spanish conquistadors arrived in South America during the 16th century, they destroyed much of the Inca Empire. Cities fell. Rulers were captured. Ancient traditions were disrupted. Yet Machu Picchu appears to have escaped major destruction. The Spanish did not leave records describing its conquest. They may never have discovered it. For centuries, the city remained hidden. But if it was not destroyed, why did people leave? Was it abandoned because of disease? Political changes? The collapse of the Inca Empire? Or was Machu Picchu always intended to be temporary? A sacred place used for a specific period before being left behind? The answer remains uncertain. And that uncertainty is what makes Machu Picchu so captivating. Because every stone tells a story. But not every story has been fully understood. High above the clouds, the ancient city continues to stand. Silent, beautiful, and filled with unanswered questions. Because Machu Picchu is not only a lost city, it is a message from a civilization that disappeared, but never truly vanished. For more than 500 years, Machu Picchu has remained one of the greatest symbols of the ancient world. But despite its fame, the purpose of this extraordinary city is still debated. Was it a royal palace? A religious sanctuary? An astronomical center? A place of pilgrimage? Or perhaps a combination of all these things? The truth is that Machu Picchu does not fit neatly into a single category. It was not simply a city. It was a carefully designed environment where architecture, nature, and belief were connected. The Incas did not separate the physical world from the spiritual world in the way many modern societies do. Mountains, rivers, the sun, the earth itself, all were part of a larger sacred system. Machu Picchu appears to have been created with this worldview in mind. Every location seems intentional. Every structure has a relationship with the surrounding landscape. The mountains were not obstacles. They were part of the design. One of the most fascinating places within Machu Picchu is the Intihuatana stone. Its name is often translated as the place where the sun is tied. This carved stone pillar may have been used by Inca priests for astronomical observations and religious ceremonies. Researchers believe it helped track the position of the sun during important times of the year. For the Incas, understanding the movement of the heavens was essential. The sun god Inti was one of the most important figures in Inca religion. The emperor himself was believed to have a divine connection to the sun. So observing solar cycles was not only a scientific activity, it was also a spiritual one. The Incas carefully watched the changing position of the sun across the sky. They used this knowledge to organize agricultural seasons, ceremonies, and religious events. At Machu Picchu, Architecture became a way of communicating with the universe. But perhaps the most impressive achievement of Machu Picchu was not a single building. It was the entire city system. The location created enormous challenges. There was no easy road to transport materials. The mountain slopes were steep. The environment was unpredictable. Yet the Incas built hundreds of structures with remarkable precision. Where did the stones come from? How were they moved? How did workers shape them so accurately? These questions continue to fascinate engineers and archaeologists. The Incas did not have iron tools. They did not use wheeled vehicles for transportation in the mountains. They did not have modern machines. Instead, they relied on human labor, organization, and an extraordinary understanding of stone. Workers selected local rock. They shaped surfaces through repeated grinding and careful adjustment. Large stones were moved using manpower, ropes, wooden supports, and carefully planned construction methods. The achievement becomes even more impressive when we remember the location. Machu Picchu was not built on flat ground. The entire city had to be integrated into the mountain itself. The Incas created drainage systems beneath buildings. They constructed terraces to stabilize slopes. They managed rainfall in an area where sudden storms could cause landslides. The hidden engineering beneath Machu Picchu may be just as impressive as what visitors see above ground. In fact, much of the city's survival may be due to what cannot be seen. Beneath the stone paths and buildings lies a complex foundation system. Layers of crushed rock allowed rainwater to drain away. This prevented the mountain soil from becoming unstable. Without this engineering, Machu Picchu might have disappeared centuries ago. The Incas were not simply builders. They were environmental engineers. They understood that survival required cooperation with nature. But one mystery remains. If Machu Picchu was such an important place, why did the Spanish conquistadors never discover it? During the 16th century, Spanish forces led by Francisco Pizarro defeated the Inca Empire. They captured Emperor Atahualpa. They entered major Inca cities. They searched for gold and wealth. Yet Machu Picchu appears to have escaped their attention. This is one reason the site survived. Unlike many other Inca settlements, it was not destroyed or heavily altered by the Spanish. The city remained hidden among the mountains, protected by geography, protected by isolation, protected by time. But the idea that Machu Picchu was a completely unknown lost city is more complicated. Local people knew about the ruins long before Hiram Bingham arrived. Farmers lived in the surrounding area. Paths through the mountains were still used. The site was not truly forgotten. Instead, it was forgotten by the outside world. A reminder that history often depends on whose stories are recorded. In recent decades, archaeologists have continued discovering new information about Machu Picchu. Advanced mapping technology has revealed additional structures. Drone surveys have helped researchers study areas difficult to access. Digital models have provided new perspectives on how the city was organized. And every discovery creates new questions. How many people actually lived there? What ceremonies took place? What was daily life like? How did ordinary workers experience this incredible place? The answers are still emerging. And perhaps the most exciting discoveries have not happened yet. The Andes contain countless hidden locations. Dense forests, steep valleys, remote mountain paths. New archaeological sites continue to appear. The story of the Inca civilization is far from complete. Machu Picchu teaches us something powerful about human creativity. Great achievements do not always come from easy conditions. Sometimes the most extraordinary creations emerge from the most difficult environments. The Incas looked at a mountain and imagined a city. They looked at stone and saw possibility. They looked at a harsh landscape and created harmony. Their civilization eventually fell. Their empire disappeared. Their language changed. Their rulers were gone. But Machu Picchu remained. A message carved into the mountains. A reminder that civilizations are not remembered only by the power they possess. They are remembered by what they create. Today, millions of people travel across the world to stand among its ancient stones. They walk along the same terraces. They look toward the same mountains. They watch the same sunrise that ancient people watched centuries ago. For a brief moment, the distance between past and present becomes smaller. The stones become more than ruins. They become evidence of human ambition, human imagination, human connection with the world around us. Machu Picchu was never just a city. It was an idea. The idea that humans could transform impossible landscapes into places of beauty and meaning. And perhaps that is why this ancient sanctuary continues to inspire the world. Because the greatest mysteries are not always hidden in what we cannot find. Sometimes they are hidden in what has been standing before us all along. High above the clouds, between the mountains, where stone meets sky. Machu Picchu continues to tell its story. A story of a civilization that disappeared, but left behind something that time itself could not